afternoon. I want to say good afternoon to everyone. Something just popped up, so I can't see what it is. I'm going to have to put my glasses on. But welcome, everybody. This is, what is my name? Leslie Montgomery. I'm trying to see what this says and read. Okay, let me stay focused. My name is Leslie Montgomery, and this is LKM Kingdom Living, Leslie's Lessons Learned. And we are so excited to be here today with our guest, Trina. She has been on here before, but she's been doing a lot. She's been very busy. She's been doing a lot of work. And this woman right here, she's one of those ladies that have a lot of hidden treasures. Every time I say something, somebody says, "Oh, just ask Trina. She know how to do it." So she's a woman of many treasures. And I'm just so happy that she was able to come on today. During the week, we like to talk about healthcare, self-care, and how to take care of yourself. And I've had Rick on cooking. I had Janice on cooking. I've had people on, doctors on, telling us how to better take care of ourselves, how to exercise, um, whatever aspect that we need to cover. Oh, I've had Leslie on here telling us how to be the CEO of our homes. I've had Anna on talking about putting our medical records in the right place at the so that everybody can get to it. And today Trina, she's been dealing with showing us how beautiful we are, letting us know that I keep saying this all week. I've been saying this: beauty is not only skin deep, but we sometimes need to go deep.
Mhm.
And you've been teaching how to go deep, and that there's a lot of healing aspects of going deep to understand who you were created to be and how beautiful you are. So, Trina, tell us a little bit about yourself. And we know each other most of us know each other from the 1212 community. And because of the 1212 community, it has expanded our lives so much, and it's caused us to use what's in our hand, to understand what's in our hand is for now, and the time is now. So if you think about it, Trina, uh, it's been about 2 years now you've been doing it.
Um, yes, being very vocal now for two.
Right. Since the 2000, what was that,
The conference.
2001 conference?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
conference, and it's amazing how that conference pushed us to where we are today, and how that conference unlocked things inside of us that we
Absolutely.
didn't even know that we had inside of us. And now you're blossoming. And not only are you blossoming, you're causing other women and men to blossom as well. So tell us a little bit about that.
So it's God will use the thing that you struggle with as what your assignment is. And so for so long, I couldn't accept myself as beautiful because I was looking at what society was saying beautiful. So, when you flip open the magazines, you got the tall, skinny models, long hair, what have you. And I'm trying to measure up to that. So you're talking diet after diet, having to have the long, straight hair, everything. But realizing, even trying in those attempts, I'm still unhappy. I still don't feel beautiful. And so God had to really break it down for me, within me, so that I can understand that beautiful was who I was created to be. It doesn't matter what I look like on the outside. What really mattered was what was on the inside. So being able to forgive, being able to say I'm sorry, being able to receive feedback, all the things that we don't necessarily think about but are really impactful, being able to take care of ourselves.
Yes. Yeah. When I think about that, and what you were just saying, that has I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that has a lot to do with our character as well.
Mhm.
Because if our character is not healthy, if we're not healthy, our character is not healthy.
Absolutely.
And when we don't know who we are, we can't be beautiful, because like you said, we only see what society tells us. We only remember what somebody told us in school. We was ugly, we was fat, we didn't have, you know. and,
Yep.
and I remember when I was in school, and it might be basic to somebody else, but my last name was Walker. and they used to say, "Here come Walker." She walking down the street or what, you know.
We were so
And
bad to each other back then.
I promised myself when I got over, I was changing my name, and my first name was going to be Yolanda. I was no longer going to be Leslie because that was an ugly name. And
Now
I
Yolanda.
was going to be Yolanda. So, and coming up through not just school but through life, and coming up with so many hiccups in my life. So, we have a lot of hiccups. I call them hiccups. A lot of things that hinder who we are and keeps us from growing. So when I think of your community, I think of someone that helps you through that process.
Um, look, I got some time for. So I would say definitely yes. But I will also say this too: is you have to be ready to peel back the layers and look into what has held you back from beautiful. Because I can come on and you can come on and we can do these lives and we can do these different events and we can say, okay, you should do this and this. But until you are really ready to say, I'm going to stop living in my past and my pain, and truly saying, okay, I no longer want to feel bad about myself, or I no longer want to see myself less than what God is saying, then it's not, none of the tools are going to matter. So, although, I'm gonna encourage you all day long. That's what that's my gift. But I also have to understand too, is not everyone is ready. And I think that's the thing that we have to be honest with ourselves when we're working through the healing process, is that it's going to take time. It's not an overnight thing. Like, we didn't get into the pain overnight. We didn't walk in unforgiveness overnight. We didn't have the trauma overnight. Certain situations may have been overnight, but you know what I mean? Where,
Yeah.
but so to understand that, okay, I can give you some affirmations, or I can give you a devotional, or you can take a class and think, oh, I'm going to feel beautiful. It doesn't happen that way, because I'm still at times questioning whether I'm beautiful, and I'm the one that's supposed to be encouraging everybody else.
Right,
But
right, right. And but that's true. That's true. Um, People think that because you stand in that place that you don't have these issues anymore, that you're not facing these things.
yeah,
And that's something that we face because we're always maturing, we're always developing, we're always growing.
right.
And every step that we grow and every process that we go through, it takes us to mature a whole nother level.
Listen, I think I'm old enough now that I like to believe I'm old enough. But that's where um the transparency comes in, right? As you're peeling back the layers and as we're working through different things, God is dimming the light, like, you really don't, you haven't really forgiven in this area. So I need you to focus on that. So he'll put you in different situations. So to say, okay, all right, God, I got the lesson. Can you ease up on me a little bit? But then he like, no, 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 you still ain't got it, because I'm still trying to control. And so that's the thing we have to understand, is that as long as we are being guided by him, we're always learning. Like, he's always going to still be able to show us something that needs some tweaking, that needs some, let me go ahead and just rip this band-aid off real quick. There's going to still be those things.
Yeah, it's something you said that really stuck out to me. You said that, of course, I remember what you said. Oh, when you were saying, you were talking about letting go of the wrench. A lot of times it's fear that doesn't allow it. When you can look in the mirror and be fearful.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you have a something I have been talking about, but you have a challenge going on right now
Yeah.
to looking in the mirror. And I remember a few years ago, just before the 2021 conference, and somebody from the 1212 community hit me up and said, um, God said, get naked before him. I was like, get naked before him. And that's all they said. I said, hold up, wait a minute. First of all, you're not coming up in here and leaving me no message like that and not tell me what you're talking about.
You need a little context. I need some context.
But when I began to do it, and it's not something I hadn't done, but every time you grow, it looks different. And when I did it again, I began to embrace me,
Mhm.
embrace parts of me. Did it all happen at once? No. And then we come along later, and then one day you remember Dion, she was a part of the 1212 community, and she said to me, Leslie, uh, look in the mirror and just stay there and tell yourself you love yourself, minister to yourself. That's what I have to do,
Mhm.
and that's what I had to do. And when you begin to minister from that level, there is so much healing. There is healing factors. We can eat certain foods, and certain foods will give us the nutritions we need. That
Right.
it'll help us, it'll benefit us when we take vitamins. But when you begin to minister to yourself, and you can look in the mirror and stay there long enough to tell yourself you love yourself and feel it. You're going to cry at first, you're going to break at first, but then you're going to be rebuilt. And when you come up again, you was going
Yeah.
to say
No,
something.
I was gonna wait till you finish. I think that was the reason why God gave me the challenge that we're doing this month. Because how many times do we walk past the mirror but really don't see ourselves? We may look and check our outfit, make sure our hair is okay, is the makeup okay, but when do you really get to see you in that mirror? And that's what we're doing this month, is saying, okay, I don't care about the clothes, I don't care about the outside, but do I see me when I look in that? Do I see the little girl that's inside? Do I see, the teenager that's dealing with, that's still dealing with the bullying that may have happened in high school? Have I dealt with that? And really getting down to back to basics, really, is what he said to me. Was because if I can't look in the mirror and see me, then you won't see me, right? We won't be able to see each other, because if I can't look in the mirror and really like what I see, then how can I expect anybody else to like and see me when I'm out there?
Hmm. One of the things I would do, though, when I looked in the mirror before that, to make sure that my eyes look right, because I didn't want nobody looking in my eyes and saying, oh, she's sad, or she, so
Oh my
I
gosh.
would, I had to make sure my eyes look right so that nobody can see the sadness or the brokenness,
Mm-hmm.
because the eyes is the window of the soul, and you can really see somebody. And a lot of times when I'm talking to people, and I see one thing on the outside, but I see another thing on the inside. So maybe I might not have looked in the mirror to see who I was, but I was looking in the mirrors to make sure nobody else saw who I was. Isn't that funny? So yeah, I thought about that when you was just talking about that we have to get past that,
Right.
and we have to deal with those areas that hurt and the pain. And it doesn't happen overnight.
Mm-mm. Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. That's where I think that's the understanding that we have to have, is that the process to heal is a gradual process. It can be a long term process, because as you're going through it, there may be a new trigger, right? Something may come across and you're like, oh, I didn't even know that bothered me. And so now you got something else that you have to work through. And so, okay, you working through that. And then now something else comes across and you're like, oh, I thought I was done with this area. So it's a continual thing. And that's the part where I think we really have to give ourselves the grace to know we will have triggers. They're going to come up. That's what the enemy's going to do, right? That's what God does, to say, okay, you still haven't dealt with this, but understand and trust the process. So
Trust the
as
process.
we're working through our beautiful, we can kind of say, okay, I'm peeling the onion back just a little bit, like a little bit more is being shown today. And so then it kind of feeds off of that. And the more you can peel back the layers and like really reveal the authentic you, then that's when your beautiful begins to flourish.
And it's okay to accept you.
Yes. Yep.
It's okay to, with the blemishes,
That part.
with the different things that society tells you makes a difference. And when you realize that you're created beautifully, when
Mm-hmm.
you realize that your creator doesn't make any mistakes,
Not at all.
and every one of us have a purpose for our lives. I want to say good afternoon to Sabrina. Thank you for being here with
Hey,
me.
beautiful.
So it is important that we do understand how important it is for us to accept us. So one of the things I'm saying, and on Sundays I've been doing the forgiveness challenge on
Right.
lessons learned, and every once in a while something else triggers, and it's like, I'm talking about this, but I need to deal with this right here. One day I almost
Them
broke
little
my
shots
eye.
hurt, don't they?
It's almost like getting those electric shocks, to bring you back to life.
Yep.
And um, so there's things that we do deal with. There's things that we do have to overcome. We got to accept who we are. Everybody's not going to do it like you do it,
Yep.
and you're not going to do it like everybody else. Everybody's not going to look like you. Society almost messed me up, seeing these young girls with the shapes and the long hair and the hips, and I was like, what I need to do, and then it was like, wait a minute.
It'll have you second guessing yourself every time you turn around. Like, oh, maybe if I go get this
Yeah,
tucked in a little bit different. Mm-mm, mm-mm, don't fall for it.
right. I had to put myself in check. It's like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? But society, that visual, that's what it is. It's the visual that gets us.
That
And when
comparison.
we that's why we compare
Yep.
ourselves. That's why we don't see the beauty in ourselves,
Yeah.
because of what else we see.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's where I think, the whole, that's why I don't know if it's a movement, whatever God is doing, is so important, is because we have to change the narrative on what beautiful is, what it looks like. Not knocking it if y'all did those things, that's your thing,
yeah,
but it can't be the thing that girls coming up aspire to, right? It can't be the thing that women, we can't constantly compare and think, oh, I have to look that way, because we don't have to look that way. If you do, hey, that's on you. But don't allow somebody else's shape, texture of their hair, length of their hair, car they have, house they have, marital status, what, don't let all of that negate who they are as a person. Because I think when you take all that stuff away, who are they at the end of the day? They're still a beautiful woman that God has created, right?
hmm,
It's just all the extra stuff. And that's where we have to look at each other at and say, okay, I'm still beautiful, regardless of whether I'm in some sweatpants, right? And some jeans, or if I'm in the baddest suit and some heels. Like, it doesn't, none of, I'm still the same at the end of the day.
right. Yeah. And one thing I just thought about is that when I was in ministry, when I was as a pastor's wife and as a pastor, and at that time you had to dress, you had to look a certain way, and it almost broke me because I
Mm,
could not keep up with on the not on the standards that they felt like I should have been.
wow.
See, because there's a standard that they think that you should keep up. And one day I fell on my knees and I said, Father, I can't do this. I
I did
can't
not
do
know
this
that.
anymore. And he says, I never asked you to. I never asked you to. I just asked you to be yourself. And what I need is not in the clothes. What I need is what you can give somebody else.
Absolutely.
And if you can't give somebody else what you have from where you are, then that's the issue, not your
Mm,
clothes.
that's it right there. That's it. That's the offering plate. Pass the plate.
Yeah, but that is a very hard thing, and we as women really are wrapped up in it. There's very few women that could care less, but for the majority of women, they're caught up in all those things because it makes you feel like somebody. It makes you think you're in the in crowd. It makes you feel like they like you because you can do all these things. Who cares?
Right, right.
Who
Yeah, that's
cares?
that's the that's the challenge, and that's why the work that I do is required, is to let women, girls, families, men, whoever comes across my path, like none of that matters, because in an instance we
It's
can lose
gone.
all of that.
It's gone.
And when you lose all of that, what are you left with? You're still left with yourself. And that's the piece that you have to accept and allow and receive, is that at the end of the day, when all else is gone, I'm still beautiful. I'm still worthy. I'm still equipped. I'm still all the things that God created me to be. And that becomes the foundation. That's the thing that we can stand on, so that when those situations do come, we won't be easily rocked and swayed, because we know who we are.
Right. Hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. And one of the things that I did have to work on was myself, my self esteem. My self esteem was so broken because I felt like I couldn't keep up with the Joneses, in so many words. I could
Mhm.
not match up. So my self esteem was broken. And I felt like um, I wasn't up to par. That doesn't make you up to par. You can have all those things and have nothing on the inside of you.
Yep,
Have no character, have no love, have no compassion. And if you don't have any things and you're dressed up, you're just a nasty dressed up person
that's it.
that needs to be healed
Yep.
because something broke you and you never dealt with it.
I
So it's
think, uh,
important.
yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think
Mm-mm.
that's where the outer part becomes the camouflage, becomes the mask that we wear, right? We're thinking, well, if I'm dressed to the nines and I have this and that, then people won't see my insecurities. They won't see the self doubt. They won't see the pain and the hurt. But when you look in that mirror, you see
See
all of that,
it. You still
and
see it.
you still
Mhm.
see it.
Yeah, that's true. And when we do see it, what are we doing with it?
That part.
Are we allowing it to wear us down? Are we allowing it to overtake us? Or are we dealing with it?
Yeah,
Because it's one thing to acknowledge it, but it's another thing to deal with it. So I think that that's where your program or your program comes in, because you help to deal with those things that you have hidden, because we hide behind them in life.
that's
Yeah.
what it. So I'd hate to say yes, it is right, because I know that the beautiful society. I know that the no more excuses intensive. Like I know all the things that God has given me um can help with that, but you've got to be ready,
That
right? You've got to be ready, because when you start peeling those layers back and you start seeing the ugly side of beautiful, are you going to quit? Or are you going to say, okay, I'm going to get through this anyway? For me, it was God's like, you got an attitude problem. And I'm like, what you mean? Like, because, people see you and they're like, oh, you don't smile. And I'm like, but it's not that I don't smile. It's just right now I'm just trying to feel you out. Right. So I had to, I had to, and for this example, learn not to take it personal when someone says, I don't smile, right? Because just because I smile doesn't mean that I still don't have something to say, or that I'm still not approachable, or, what have you. It's just that with my personality, I have to feel you out, see the energy, right, that you're coming across, to decide now, are you, let me say this, am I capable of giving you or talking to you, or being in your energy, and not be worried so much about, am I going to be deflated when we finish talking? So
so
I'm very cautious. So it's not that I don't smile, it's just that I'm
right.
cautious.
So when you came in the room, what I say?
You said that, yeah, I wanted to see how long you're not gonna smile. Like you say that to me all the time. But it's just, I stay in my head. And so I'm learning. Like I'm that's God help me so that when I, because I know that first impressions are everything, right? And I know that with the territory he's taking me into, that I have to come in smiling regardless of whether I'm comfortable or not, right?
But listen, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I know most people say, ain't nobody trying to smile 5 o'clock in the morning.
Not at 5 o'clock, nope.
And when you do come on, and my sister come on, I be cracking up because y'all be like,
See, I'm about to. At least I ain't the only one. Linda, she be picking on you too.
and I just, it makes me laugh, and I know that you guys are not that way, but just to see your face, I just sit there and laugh at y'all because it's like whatever y'all just if y'all want to laugh, y'all go ahead. You know?
Listen, it's gonna come. We gonna, we gonna still have a good time, but when we're ready, right? Not when just because that. And I think that's where we have to appreciate is all of us are unique, right? You got the extroverts, you got the introverts, you got the in betweens, you got the flamingos, as Rick would say, and whatever all of that
Right,
is.
right.
Like you
It's
have the
bilingual.
different personalities, and I think we had to um appreciate and accept that that's all a part of our beautiful composition. And that, well, just because you come on at 5 o'clock in the morning smiling doesn't mean that I'm any less of, because I don't. Because I'm gonna still smile, but when I'm ready, like I just needed some tea. I need to get woke up, maybe at 5:30 or something like right. But
Look, Trina put something in the chat. I'll be like, Alicia, you really said something today. Trina's
I'm like,
she's
let's be coming for me again. She gonna leave me alone.
but it's you know what? I like to laugh. I'm silly. I'm silly, but I know how to be serious too when I need to be serious. But and it is just such a pleasure to know that there are women out here that want to help, not just other women, people come face to face with who they really are.
Mhm.
Pastor Jackie, how are you? Thank you for joining us. Um, it is so important that we understand who we are. We're in a time and a season, and I shouldn't say season. We're in a place. I'm gonna say we're in a place. We're in a place that if we don't understand who we are right now, if we don't understand what's about to take place,
Yep.
we're gonna be, as they say, left behind.
Mhm.
We have to own up to the brokenness so that the brokenness can be healed. And that's what it's all about, that we no longer walk around broken. We no longer walk around and say we're part of the kingdom and we're causing other people to be broken because we're broken and we want someone else to hurt because we hurt. We want someone else to be in a place where um, some people tell you off just to see you deflate. And it's time out for that.
Yep.
It's time out for that. If we don't heal now, when will we heal?
That's true. That's
You know,
good.
we got a lot of mean ushers and trustees and everything else in the body, and not in the body, but in the church now, because they never accepted that they needed to be healed. Just because you're in a position doesn't mean that you get a pass. If you're in a position, you need healing real fast
Just right. Yep.
because
You
you
need
got to
it
help
more.
somebody else.
You gotta help somebody else. And I think that's where um as ministers, when you're in a ministry, regardless of whether it's in the church or just your overall assignment, you things are going to come at you, right? Because you're freeing people, right? You're talking to their struggle, right? And so that just means now we got to truly put on our armor, because The enemy not gonna be happy that you about to free this person from her forgiveness, from walking in unforgiveness. And so that's where people have to understand that when you're doing the work, that's how much more in connection with God that you have to be. Because you need to be able to pull from Him to get the wisdom, get the strength, get the clarity. So as those things come, you'll be equipped and prepared for the battle.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. And I thank you for coming on. I want to end with this scripture,
Okay.
um, the latter part of it, because it goes with, uh, I feel it goes with what you were saying. And one of the things in Ephesians 6, and we know it talks about the armor and things like that. And this grabbed me one day, and I used to always pray this scripture. And uh, Paul would after tell you about the armor, tell you why you wear the armor in so many words, and then it would come to the part where he would say, "Pray, always pray." In verse 18, he says, "Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching unto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints." For this right here, he says, "And for me." You were talking about how the enemy doesn't want us to free people. He said, "And for me, I am an ambassador." And I used to always pray this, and I stopped praying this, and the Father said, "No, you go back to praying that." He says,
Mm,
"In bond." Yeah. And then he says, "That therein I may speak boldly." Put on your armor, get ready, but make sure that you understand why you're wearing that armor.
that's it right there. You got to understand. Yep.
That I may speak boldly. Speak boldly what? The word that causes somebody else to live.
That's when you say that, that reminds me of how um, we sit on our gifts, how I sat on my gift of inspiring beautiful because I didn't want to reveal the vulnerable side. Like who wants to admit that they questioned whether they was beautiful? I sure didn't. But I understand that as I share my vulnerability, then other women can do the same. And that's what it's all about. This beautiful piece isn't for me. This beautiful piece is for my sister next door that needs to feel beautiful because maybe she just had an argument with her husband or what have you. So the work that we do isn't for us, it's for the next person. And so we can't sit on our gifts no matter how much we want to hide. Because I wanted to hide. Look, I can sell you a t-shirt. You need a t-shirt, I can sell. But I couldn't hide behind the products anymore because he's like, that's not the assignment. That's not the greater assignment. This is what the assignment is. And so now I understand this journey isn't for me. This journey is for the next beautiful to me.
Mhm. It's so real. So I need to really read this over because I just botched this whole thing. So,
You don't guess.
and we're gonna end with this, but in Ephesians 6:19, and it says, "And for me, that utterance may be given unto me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mysteries of the gospel. For I am an ambassador in bond, that wherein I speak boldly as I ought to speak." Paul is saying, I need prayer, that y'all pray for me, that I do what I'm supposed to do.
Hmm.
Keep me covered.
That part.
Keep me covered.
Yep.
We got to be vulnerable. We got to let people know that we went through, we're going through, or how we came out. We can't just sit up and make people think that everything was roses, that everything was just in a place that um, I had no issues. I had no problems. I'm sitting up here as the pastor's wife, and I have no problems. I'm sitting up here as a pastor. It's you that got the problem, not me. I'm gonna pray for you, but who's praying for you?
Yeah.
And nobody has to pray for you. When you look in the mirror, as you said, are you dealing with what you see?
I think what you just said also reminds me of um the as strong friends, right? We all have we're the strong friends. And so sometimes the strong friends still need encouragement. The strong friends still need prayer. The strong friends still need somebody to call and check on you. So when you think about that person that you think is like the toughest and can keep going and keep going and keep going, when's the last time you called and checked and just say, "Hey, I'm just calling to see how you doing?" Because it's already hard, right? When you are that strong friend, it's already hard to reach out and phone a friend and say, "Listen, I just need you to pray for me today."
It's hard.
It's very hard because
So,
we don't want to maybe think that you're going to think less of me because I need some prayer. But let Sabrina on here, I ain't got no problem, Sabrina. This is my struggle. And she'll send me a prayer back. Like that's the friends that God has to lead you to. That's the core, the group that you need. You don't need the girlfriend that's gonna have a little pity party with you.
no,
You need the girlfriend that's gonna be able to go to war with you and pray with you, pray for you, pray over you, because that's the one that's gonna help you get over the hump versus the one that's gonna keep you stuck in that pity party, so to speak.
yeah, and it's so true. Thank you so much, Trina. You're gonna have to come back on.
Listen,
This
I got
is
it, and then
good.
we got to figure out when you're coming on with Tuesday nights, though. Because listen, you and Andre, y'all good to get it, and that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know if I'm
yeah.
ready for that yet.
Yes. But listen, you have to come back on. I appreciate this.
I appreciate
This,
you.
this. So, real quick, tell them about the challenge again and how they can get in touch with you to be a part of the challenge.
Okay, so the challenge is an attitude of gratitude. I don't forgot what it's called now, but is the attitude of gratitude. Oh, accepting and receiving ourselves, or something like that. But the challenge is for the month of November, every day to get in front of a mirror, naked or clothed, however you decide to do it. Naked is better because that way you can see all of you and really see all of you. Like look deep into your eyes, look at trace your face, do all the things, look at the love handles. I mean, that's why they're called a love handle, right? You got love on them, but really look and see you for the first time. See the little girl in you, see, the healing that needs to be done. Truly see you. Don't just let the mirror time become a superficial act. Like don't just do it just to check your clothes. Do it to really see you. And then sit with God and journal and reflect on that and allow him to I don't like retrain your mindset, I guess, on the thing that you think you see really isn't what he sees, and allow him to show you this is the beautiful that I see. And it's
Transforming of your mind.
in your mind. And so if you
Mhm.
want to join, look for us a Facebook group a Facebook group on Facebook. A Facebook group is called The Beautiful Society. We would love to have you. It's free to join. So come on over.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys, everybody that's been here. Rick, I see you're on. Thank you so much. And yeah, I also put it in the descriptions. You can hit her up and talk to her privately if you need to.
Mhm.
She is willing to help you. So until we meet again, I want to say thank you, Trina. And this was good. I enjoyed this, and
Thank you for having me.
yeah, and you guys keep the head up. Deal with yourself. It's
Hmm.
okay if you gotta cry. It's okay, but there's healing behind those tears.
Absolutely.
Let the Father heal you.
Rick
Until
said,
we
"Listen,
meet again. Oh, Sunday we'll be on Leslie's Lessons Learned at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. and we're going to be honoring the military on Sunday. So
Awesome.
everybody just enjoy the rest of your day. It looks like it's beautiful out. Yeah, the sun is shining. If the sun's not shining where you are, it is shining in your heart. So always remember that the sun always shines within you. Till we meet again, have a great day.
Bye.